Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled you're here. Now, if you've been following the summer transfer window even a little bit, you already know it is pure chaos out there right now. Every single day brings just endless speculation and contradictory reports flying all over the soccer world. But hey, as focused learners, we just do not have time for the fluff. We are here to efficiently slice right through that noise and get straight to the facts. So we're going to break down the latest high-stakes movements, the actual done deals, the behind-the-scenes drama, and the massive rumors shaping the global market, all by looking at the hard evidence. Okay, let's dive into this.
Here is our roadmap for today. First up, the Juventus shakeup. Second, Premier League done deals. Third, Maresca's explosive managerial move. Fourth, Nico Paz's strategic transfer. And finally, we'll hit those Harry Kane to Barcelona rumors.
All right, Section 1, the Juventus shakeup.
So, there is a deeply high-stakes situation brewing in Italy right now. Juventus is in the middle of this massive roster overhaul, and the dominoes are starting to fall fast. The biggest domino of them all? Dusan Vlahovic is officially a free agent on the market. His contract with Juventus expires in literally 48 hours. There was absolutely no agreement reached to extend his stay with the previous Juventus CEO, and now, time's up. Because of that failure to secure an extension, Vlahovic instantly becomes one of the most highly sought-after strikers available anywhere in the world. I mean, having a free agent of his caliber drop like this, it completely shifts the balance of power on the open market.
Now, if there was any lingering doubt about whether a last-minute miracle deal might happen, just listen to this definitive quote from the new Juventus CEO, Giovanni Carnevali. He stated publicly, "I didn't speak to Vlahovic. He's an important player, but he's not in our thoughts." Wow, that is a completely slammed door. The era is over. So what's next? Where does he go? Well, he's already been offered to top Spanish clubs and several teams around Europe. Interestingly, the Turkish club Besiktas has actually already stepped up with a bid, and they are ready to pay his hefty salary and signing fee. But Vlahovic is biding his time. He wants to wait and see if those top European or Spanish clubs make a definitive move before he fully commits to Turkey.
Now, what's really interesting here is watching this domino effect in action. With Vlahovic out the door, the club's directors confirmed they are already in active negotiations to bring in Randal Kolo Muani from Paris Saint-Germain. But the overhaul isn't just up front. They are desperately hunting for a new goalkeeper too. They looked closely at Emi Martinez from Aston Villa, but the reality is he's just considered way too expensive right now. Villa simply won't let him leave on a free transfer. So that leads us right to Guglielmo Vicario. He's actually leaving Tottenham this summer because Spurs are shifting their goalkeeper lineup to Kinski and Dubravka. This makes Vicario a highly realistic, practical option for Juventus as they try to juggle this insanely complex web of moving parts.
Moving on to Section 2, Premier League done deals.
Let's contrast two very different approaches to the current market. First, we have Eric Wilson heading to Leeds United on a solid 4-year contract. What really stands out here is Wilson's pure commitment to English football. He had some highly lucrative proposals on the table from the Middle East, but he explicitly rejected them. He just wanted to secure this big chance to stay in the Premier League. Now contrast that approach with Everton's acquisition of Hackney from Middlesbrough. David Moyes and Everton have shelled out an upfront £17.5 million, plus additional add-ons tied to future England caps. That is a massive show of expensive trust in a young player's potential to become a true star for the club.
All right, Section 3, Maresca's explosive managerial move.
Buckle up, because this is definitely the emotional peak of today's explainer. And what is easily the biggest story in the Premier League right now, Enzo Maresca is officially replacing Pep Guardiola at Manchester City. They're locking him in on a 3-year contract that runs until June 2029. And the fee? £17 million. That is a staggering, record-breaking compensation fee Manchester City is paying Chelsea just to pry Maresca away. It's an astronomical sum for a manager whose stated philosophy is simply that he wants to play attractive, beautiful football and win trophies. The sheer financial magnitude of this move really highlights exactly how desperately City wanted him as Guardiola's successor.
But let me tell you, the transition has been anything but smooth. In their official statement, Chelsea pointedly refers to him so coldly as just our former head coach. They noticeably refuse to even use his name. Chelsea is absolutely furious. According to their information, they firmly believe Maresca was secretly talking with Manchester City well before he officially resigned from his post at Chelsea. The tension was so severe and so incredibly public that Maresca actually had to issue an official apology statement to the Chelsea fans today. Chelsea ended their furious statement by pointedly saying they are looking forward to working with a top professional now, really signaling the bitter end of this incredibly tense saga.
Real quick, just to keep our momentum going, here is another fast managerial update from elsewhere in Europe. Liam Rosenior is currently in advanced conversations to become the new head coach at Paris FC. They are parting ways with their current coach, and Rosenior is now the clear favorite. He's negotiating a 2-year deal with an option for a third. Just a little piece of the puzzle to keep your eye on as this coaching carousel continues to spin.
Section 4. Nico Paz's strategic transfer.
You know, we often talk about the clubs making the big moves, but what about the players? This is a fascinating look at a young talent taking a highly calculated risk to force his own career development. Nico Paz has officially completed a permanent transfer from Real Madrid to Como. Now, you might be wondering, why on earth would a player leave a giant like Real Madrid? Well, Paz actually released a statement calling this the best decision for him, and honestly, the strategy is perfectly clear. He's not rejecting Real Madrid at all. He simply wants to play. At Como, he is guaranteed an environment where he could play 50 games, he steps immediately into a regular starter role, he gets to play Champions League football, and crucially, he gets to wear the number 10 shirt as the absolute face of the squad. He wants to be the star right now to develop his game.
And this brilliantly illustrates the long-term master plan for both the player and his former club. Today, Paz moves to Como on a permanent deal to get those guaranteed minutes and that star status. But jump forward to summer 2027, and Real Madrid's active buyback clause becomes valid. This structure gives Paz the freedom to fully develop his potential on the pitch today, while allowing Real Madrid to maintain long-term, calculated control over his future down the line. It is a win-win piece of business for sure.
Finally, Section 5. Harry Kane Barcelona rumors. I've got to ask you directly, based on everything you've probably seen floating around social media lately, is Barcelona actually buying Harry Kane? There was a massive report from the Daily Mail over in England recently suggesting that contact had been made from Spain regarding the Bayern Munich star, and it sent the rumor mill into absolute overdrive. All right, let's deflate that tension with the actual facts, shall we? Was there contact? Yes, sources confirmed there was a call from Barcelona several days ago, but it was just an inquiry to understand a situation. There is no official bid. There are absolutely no contract talks being worked on. The reality on the ground is that Harry Kane remains entirely focused on negotiating a brand new deal to stay with Bayern Munich. This Barcelona story, at least as of right now, is nothing more than a club doing their standard due diligence.
Which brings us to our final thought for today. We've seen exactly how the market is behaving right now, with elite free agents like Dusan Vlahovic holding all the cards and demanding top dollar, and mega clubs like Barcelona merely making polite inquiries about superstars like Harry Kane without dropping official bids. Who will actually define the balance of power in Europe this transfer window? Are the players in total control, or are the clubs just waiting to strike? I really want you to keep that question in mind as we continue tracking these moving pieces over the coming weeks. Thank you so much for joining me today, and keep your eyes on the market.